So I'm going to be reacting to a debate between Rattlesnake TV and Planet Peterson. Rattlesnake here, who claims to be a Christian, who is Andrew Wilson's friend, by the way, he debates exactly like Andrew Wilson. It's the strategy is the same. I'm sure he gave him talking points and taught him how to debate because it's identical. I don't know his name, but he does a horrible job in defending Christianity. And so does Andrew Wilson. I personally think that these guys need to stop speaking for Christianity. They're teaching wrong. They don't teach correct. They're false teachers, and everything that they try to teach man is completely wrong. I'm actually embarrassed for the guy because this debate went bad. It's pretty bad. So for those of you guys that are new to my channel, this channel is about calling out red pill alpha male channels and any channels that try to teach man how to be man that is similar to that. And I also call out false teachings to Christianity. So if you guys like the content that I'm putting out, hit that like and subscribe button, share the video, comment, all that good stuff. So the problem with these guys like Andrew Wilson and this guy from Rattlesnake TV, they make things up and then slap Christianity on it, right? To make it look good, to say that it's moral, to say that it's good, and call it truth. And it's not. A lot of it is just political, and a lot of it is just, it's red pill. It's what I call male feminism. So what he made up is this Christian authoritarianism bullcrap. A lot like Andrew Wilson made up this force doctrine that doesn't exist. All right, no more talking. Let's get into the video.
History lesson, Planet Peterson. I appreciate that. Didn't hear many arguments, but the history lesson was well enjoyed. So let me introduce you guys to my argument today, which is the Christian Authoritarian Humanist Manifesto, a precursor to the Christian Authoritarian Humanist Manifesto of 2025. Christian authoritarian humanism is a conservative philosophy of life that with supernaturalism affirms our ability and responsibility to lead ethical lives of personal fulfillment whilst aspiring to the greater good of humanity. The life stance of Christian authoritarian humanism is guided by reason, inspired by courage to confront the unknown, and informed by self-serving yet self-evident experiences, encouraging us to live life well and fully. It has persisted throughout the ages and continues to evolve through efforts of thoughtful people who recognize the values and ideals necessary to achieve the greater good. These values adapt as our knowledge and understanding of the greater good advance. This document is part of an ongoing effort to articulate the conceptual boundaries of Christian authoritarian humanism.
So he's pushing this Christian authoritarian humanism, which doesn't exist. Play that so that way you guys know and where his stance is, okay? So that you know where he's coming from.
Christian authoritarian humanism. And we already live under an authoritarian society.
Yeah, we just disagree about that.
Okay, but let me help me to understand. Does your worldview, this secular humanist worldview that you adhere to, is there a normative authority? And what happens if another secular humanist comes to you and says, you know what, these Christians, I don't believe in God, but they make some pretty damn good points, and they govern. What's your beef with that?
What's my beef with if secular humanists say, hey, I listened to some Christians and they have good ideas?
Yeah, and we're going to govern accordingly, according to the Christian Authoritarian Humanist Manifesto.
Which doesn't exist, by the way. He copy and pasted the Secular Humanist Manifesto 3 and then just sprinkled Christianity on top of it.
I would never do that.
I will tell you this. Planet Peterson here does a really good job in holding him accountable. He doesn't let him escape what his belief is. He actually holds him accountable. That I give him a lot of credit for that, because a lot of the debates that this guy and like Andrew Wilson, a lot of people that they debate, they don't understand this. They let them get away with it. Peterson here does not. You see how he called that out? Like that doesn't make sense. All you're doing is sprinkle Christianity, and it is true. You would think that he would abandon this and change his strategy because he got called out on it. And he doesn't. He actually doubles down on it.
It's a very fine system to use.
What do you do if another secular humanist comes along and says, you know what? All this human thriving, these Christians, Christian authoritarian humanists, make a pretty damn good point. We're going to govern like that. What's your problem with that?
If the inspiration that those Christian secular humanists, Christian secular, that's funny. If the inspiration they draw from that is grounded in trying to understand the human condition and improve upon it, and believing that reason is our guiding principle, and they don't do it by saying, God is telling me we should do this, therefore we should do it, then it is just secularism, and I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, what is reason?
He said it would still be secularism, and he's right. It would be. It wouldn't make a difference, and he has no problem with that. And he thought he was gonna have a "I got you" moment, right? Like, oh, I got you. But he did a really good job in defending his position, and without even responding to what he just said, he just jumped to something else. Well, what is reasoning? You're not gonna respond to that. You don't have. You just. Oh my gosh. His strategy and Andrew Wilson's strategy is to jump into their worldview, is to use their claims, right? But the problem with that is, here's the problem with that is, if you use somebody else's worldview, you have to play by their rules. Any claim that you try to make after abandoning your faith, it's no longer valid. What happens is the debates become useless and you end up going in circles because you've abandoned your foundation. Right? Now, I'm not really into these modern day debates. I think they're trash. Now, if you guys like the debates now, no disrespect to you guys, I just don't like them. I think they're a waste of time. It's more for show. It's more for entertainment. But as for truth or anything else like that, when it comes to learning, when it comes to understanding logic and reasoning, that's not there. The debates really don't make any sense. But on this video, I actually like the debate on this one. Like I said, what did it for me was him holding them accountable to his worldview.
Worldview. I think I'm being pretty good faith here. I'm trying to understand. So you're saying that your philosophy, Planet Peterson, is an amalgamation of various different philosophers over history, okay? And you think that God's not real, so then you think we should use this metaphysical concept of reason to arrive at a thriving society. Have I steel-manned it well?
That's not bad.
Okay, well that means nothing.
You just described it, and you're going to tell me that it means nothing?
I can describe something that means
Magic
nothing.
doesn't exist. What you believe is magic. Therefore, it's nothing.
I'll grant it, sure.
Okay.
All right.
How do we become a Christian society?
Well, a Christian authoritarian humanist society, you mean?
Jake, I'm actually interested in trying to have a somewhat intellectual exercise here.
I would love to, but I have no
But
idea
you're not
what you
going
think.
to. Great.
You're saying that you said to me before that things should be governed by reason. I demonstrated that I'm using reason. If somebody comes along to you as a secular humanist,
then
and
that's
they are,
just secularism.
and they are using different principles, you actually have no way to combat that.
There's nothing to combat because you literally just appealed to a secular process of reason.
A secular process? How is reason secular?
Because you're not sourcing it in God. When
What if I use reason?
What he's trying to do is take no responsibility for any claims that he makes. He doesn't want to take responsibility, so it's easier for this guy to get away with something. You can't hold him, right, to his claim because he's trying not to make a truth claim. Because if that's your strategy, then what you say is invalid, or you're trying to use his logic, his worldview when it comes to reasoning and using logic. That is universal across the board, right? So what he uses, we all use. It don't really have nothing to do with belief.
Because you're not sourcing it in God.
What if I use reason to arrive at God?
Jake, when you reason, where is God doing any of the work?
If I use my own rational faculties, I'll grant to you, maybe God not real though, okay? Maybe God not real. If I use my rational faculties to arrive at God...
He just gave up his position. He just granted him maybe it's not real. So what was the point of trying to show him that the Christian worldview is better when you just granted, okay, maybe this is not the case? I don't understand why he did that.
How am I not using reason?
I didn't say you're not using reason. I said
so
God's
then we're
not
back
part
to
of
the
the
start.
picture.
Equal playing field. I'm using reason. You're using reason. What separates us?
The way you keep twisting this is insane. I said God's not part of the equation, and then you admitted it, and then you flipped around and said to me, so Peterson, what's the problem? I don't have a problem here yet. Your problem is that you're just abandoning your faith.
How have I abandoned my faith?
Because you explicitly said God's not part of the reasoning process.
There's a difference between saying I will grant.
That's the Andrew Wilson stuff. When we reason with each other, you don't need God to reason. So Planet Peterson uses the same logic and the same reasoning that we all do. It doesn't matter if you're an atheist or secularist or what worldview you are, we all use reasoning and logic the same. It's like this, man. We all use math. The way we use it is the same for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a Christian or an atheist or anything like that. The math will be the same. I don't understand this strategy. Why they try to do this. I just don't understand it. Now, what is a good debate would be worth debating is where does it come from? Right? Where does morality come from? Where does the logic and reasoning come from? Where is the source? That's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think. Comment on the bottom. I want to hear y'all guys' thoughts. Until then, I see y'all guys on the next video.